If you've passed the SQE 1 or you're planning to become a solicitor in England and Wales, definitely you must have heard of the SQE 2. And it might sound a little bit confusing, but that's why this video is here. In today's video, we're going to be going over all you need to know about the SQE 2. We'll look at the cost, the process of registration, what is examined, and how that differs from the SQE 1. I have a video where I talk about all you need to know about the SQE 1. Please look out for that video if you're interested in knowing more about the SQE 1. Our focus in today's video is the SQE 2. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. What is the SQE 2? If you want to become a lawyer in UK, you have to take two legs of an exam called the Solicitor's Qualifying Exam. There's the SQE 1 and there's the SQE 2. The SQE 2 focuses on practical skills. SQE 1 focuses on functioning legal knowledge. So think of the SQE 2 as moving from theory to practical application. How can a lawyer actually practice law in the UK? Hence, the SQE2 is tested in two formats, the written assessment and the oral assessment. The exam focuses largely on how you can apply the law to legal tasks. This would include client interviewing, advocacy, legal research, case analysis, and the like. You must book both the written assessment and the oral assessment when you register for the exam. You may be asked, for instance, to draft a memo to a client, or you draft a contract clause in an agreement. In the oral assessment, you would have a role play where you may be asked to interview a client. The practice areas generally tested includes criminal litigation, dispute resolution, and a host of others, which I would list on the screen right now. Now to the big question, how much does the SQE2 cost? As at the date of filming this video, the SQE costs £2,974. The fee covers both the written assessment and oral assessment, and God forbid if you fail the exam, you have to pay the entire fee all over again. So you can't split and choose, as in the case of SQE 1 if you fail either the FLK 1 or the FLK 2. Also note that this fee does not include prep courses or the cost of training providers. So if you have to pay for a prep course or training providers, the cost can range from £3,000 to £8,000 depending on the training provider that you use. When is the exam typically taken? As at the date of filming this video, there are typically 4 periods in the year when the exam is taken: January, February, April, May, July, August, and October, November. So for example, if you're taking the written exam in January, you would have dates like 27th to 29th of January, and then you would have to take the oral assessment the following month, which would be in February, typically the early days of the following month. Results are usually released 3 to 4 months after the exam. Now listen very carefully because we are going to go over the booking timeline. It's very, very important that you understand this. To book the SQE2, you would need to register on the SRA portal and on the SQE website. But given that you would have already written the SQE1, this is typically a straightforward process. The next step, you would receive a seat reservation form. The next step is to complete that seat reservation form within the timeline stipulated. The next step, you would be sent a link to make payments for your exam. After making payments, your registration is finally confirmed. Seats are reserved on first come, first serve, so it's advisable that you book early. For every exam that you write, there's an examinable cut-off law period. This is the period at which you must know the law as it stands up until that date. So for instance, if you're taking the SQE2 in January, the examinable cut-off law could be in September. So you have to know all the updates and changes in the law up to the month of September. SQE2 as examinable cut-off law, and this is typically written on the SRA website. Please have a look at the SRA website or the link in the description to learn more about that. Another question that you may have is if you can take the SQE2 without the SQE1 or before taking the SQE1. And the answer to that question is a big no. You can't take the SQE2 without passing the SQE1. The SQE2 is the second stage in the process of becoming a solicitor in UK. However, you can apply for the SQE2 exemption. I have a video where I talk about how to apply for the SQE2 exemption. Please look out for that. It also features the eligibility requirements, so you can have a look at that to see if you qualify. Also note this, you cannot apply for an SQE2 exemption if you fail the SQE2. So it's best to first have a look at the requirements to see if you qualify for an exemption first before you attempt to sit the exam. Passing the SQE2 is one of the final steps in becoming a lawyer in UK. Please note also that if you're already qualified in a different jurisdiction, you may be exempt from the 2 years qualifying work experience. If you've not been qualified in a different jurisdiction, you would have to gain 2 years qualifying work experience from an approved institution by the SRA. The final step in becoming a solicitor is also in meeting the SRA's character and suitability requirements. You would need to prove that indeed you are fit and able to become a solicitor within the United Kingdom. If you're preparing for the SQE2, there are three things I'd like you to know. The SQE2 focuses on practical skills for a lawyer. It also requires that you understand practical scenarios. And finally, it's important that you learn how to manage your time under exam scenarios. I hope this video was helpful to you, especially if you're planning to become a solicitor in the United Kingdom. If it did, let me know in the comment section. If there's any other video you'd like me to film on, also let me know in the comment section, and I'll be sure to see you in the next one. Bye for now.